Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
Jennifer Crumbley takes the witness stand.
How do you feel right now about talking to this jury?
Public speaking is probably my biggest fear, so very nervous.
What she says the prosecution has wrong as she gets the chance to tell her side of the story.
Well, this afternoon, the prosecution rested its case, and immediately afterward, the defense called Jennifer Crumbley to the stand as its first witness.
And in it, she had an explanation for her son's texts about ghosts and demons. They also showed pictures which portrayed the Crumbleys as a happy family, with Jennifer saying there were no signs of the tragedy that her son would later carry out. Sean Lay following this for us. He's in Pontiac right now. A lot of questions, understandably, Sean, about the gun the parents bought, and you've got more about what she said about that.
Let's get right to it, Devin and Kimberly. What an afternoon here in the court's building. On the witness stand, hearing from Jennifer Crumbley, her side of things for the first time. She's pointing at a lot of others, not so much pointing at herself in her testimony today, talking about her husband buying the gun, but not objecting to the gun being brought in the home. She had a lot to say about the gun, but she was not asked by her attorney why she didn't stand up in that meeting the day of the shooting with her son and husband and school officials and say, we just bought him a gun 4 days ago.
My son did a lot of research on it, and they're comparing different ones that they wanted to buy. That went on for a couple months. My husband just kind of kept blowing it off, like, not right now, not right now. And then I guess when I was out shopping, they said, well, let's go try on Black Friday, see if we can get one on sale.
Did you object? Did you say, I don't want that gun in the house? Anything like that?
No, I was more angry that they cut into our Christmas tree time.
Jennifer Crumbley using her time on the witness stand to distance herself from her husband, her son, and the gun purchased days before the Oxford school shooting. James Crumbley buying a 9mm Sig Sauer handgun, the same handgun drawn by the shooter found on his math worksheet the morning of the shooting.
Did he have free access to that gun?
No, it was for him to use at the shooting range only.
Was he allowed to take it out?
Not without my husband around.
Did he know where it was kept?
My husband hid it usually in our bedroom in different spots.
Okay. What was the intention of hiding it?
That's just what you're supposed to do.
The day before the shooting, the school called Jennifer Crumbley to say her son was looking at ammunition in class. Crumbley sent her son a text that read, "Don't get caught next time." Why?
Next time, don't get caught.
What did you mean by that?
So there's an ongoing thing in our house. Someone always asked me the trouble I would get in high school because I was a little bit of a troublemaker, because I always got caught. Like, all my friends could be doing the same thing and I'd be the one to get caught. So I was kind of referencing to that.
A day before the shooting, explaining why she sent that message to her son, don't get caught next time. Look, guys, a huge part, a big pillar of the prosecuting's case here is that Jennifer Crumbley knew of her son's mental health issues because he sent her texts in March of 2021, well before the shooting, begging her to come home, saying he was seeing things in the house that were not right, scaring him. Demons, bowls being thrown, doors being shut. He says he was going to walk outside the house. He was scared. She never responded to those text messages. Today on the stand, we'll get to this at 6 o'clock. She said she probably didn't see those messages and they were unremarkable to her. She said she recognizes them now that they're brought up in the trial, but she says he was joking a lot about that, kind of putting the blame on him, saying he's not to be believed about these messages that he sent to her, guys.
Well, it's going to get more interesting, obviously, when the prosecution gets its turn with her, which is coming up next. All right, Sean, we will see you again here coming up a little later on. Now, here at 5:30, our Paula Tutman has been anchoring our streaming coverage on Local 4 Plus yesterday and today. She's going to join us with 3 big points the defense tried to make to the jury with Jennifer Crumbley on the stand. Stick around for that.
In more news, tonight a family is speaking out after a Detroit father was attacked by multiple dogs on Detroit's west side.
This happened Monday night near the intersection of West Chicago and Longacre. That's just a few blocks from the Southfield Freeway. Right now he's in the hospital and he has lost one arm. Megan Woods live on this story. Megan, he was just walking home from a bus stop.
Yes, a bus stop similar to where we are right now. Harold Phillips was walking home. He had just got off the bus, went to the mall, got him something for a job interview, and that's when these 3 dogs came out of nowhere and attacked him.
We're just praying and waiting.
Ashante Phillips describes her husband of nearly 11 years as a great father to their 6 children. But right now, he's in a medical-induced coma on dialysis and receiving blood transfusions. Detroit Animal Control says 3 pit bull mixed dogs got out of their fenced yard on Longacre.
Dogs bit a pretty big hole out of his arm and tore his artery.
Harold's right arm had to be amputated. The dogs have been euthanized, and the 2 owners received 5 citations each from Animal Control. 4 months ago, 4-year-old Lavelle Anderson was killed when a different dog got out of a fence.
It's just these 2 incidents coming together in my district within the last 6 months identifies that we have a real problem in the city of Detroit with responsible pet ownership, particularly as it pertains to dogs.
And City Councilman Fred Durhall III now has an urgent 5-point plan that includes advocating for changing state laws. In the meantime, Harold's family has hired Figer Law, and they've already started digging. And Figer Law says what they're seeing is, scary, and that they want to hold people accountable. And when we talk about the criminal side of things, DPD is investigating this case, so we have to wait to see what happens there. If you want to help Harold's family, if you want to help Harold, we're going to put a link on clickondetroit.com. Reporting live in Detroit, I'm Megan Woods, Local 4.
So awful. All right, Megan. All right, right now, President Biden is in Metro Detroit making a couple of campaign stops.
He landed around 1:30 this afternoon at Selfridge, made a surprise stop at a bar in Harper Woods, and then headed to a UAW hall in Warren. That event wrapped up here just within the past 10 minutes or so. Rod Maloney is following the president's visit tonight, and he joins us with more. Rod.
Right. It's one of those late afternoon campaign stops by the president. He's in Warren, and in fact, probably leaving Warren as we speak. United Auto Workers Region 1 Union Hall is where he had his audience today.
The president's plane arrived at Selfridge Air Force Base shortly after 1:30 p.m. On the plane with him, retiring Senator Debbie Stabenow. Awaiting him on the tarmac, the governor, the lieutenant governor, UAW President Shawn Fain, and Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle. The president jumped in his motorcade, made one of those restaurant rip and grin appearances on his way to Warren, stopping off at the They Say Burger restaurant in Harper Woods. Spent roughly a half hour speaking with patrons, even taking a selfie himself with the woman's cell phone. And then he spoke when he arrived at the Union Hall.
You all are the ones that brung me to the dance. And I never left you. I never left you. To me, it's a basic thing, and I mean this sincerely. You know, Wall Street didn't build the middle class. Labor built the middle class, and the middle class built the country. Really. And when labor does well, everybody does well.
Before leaving Washington, the president signed an executive order directed at Israeli settlers, who he and his administration say have committed violence against Palestinians. Yet there is considerable discord regarding the Middle East situation. It could be costing the president votes. This morning in Dearborn, Khalid Turani, who co-chairs a group called the Abandon Biden Campaign, said,
the level of disconnect of this administration is really beyond the pale, and it is absolutely disgusting.
Claiming operations in 7 swing states, he wants Joe Biden to push for a Gaza ceasefire. And considering there isn't one forthcoming,
Joe Biden is right now beyond repair, beyond redemption, as far as we are concerned and as far as our campaign is concerned. So the Abandon Biden campaign seeks to make Joe Biden a one-term president.
Well, the president kept his remarks short, didn't address any of that in his speech. In the meantime, the White House has been pretty tight-lipped about this particular visit. He's not leaving till about 8 o'clock, so we suspect, although they haven't confirmed it, that he's likely having a campaign fundraiser on his way out of town. Reporting live in the newsroom, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Okay, we appreciate your report, Rod. Thank you. Now to a Detroit senior reaching out to help me Hank with a phone issue that she says is affecting her personal safety. The longtime AT&T customer is having big problems with her home phone, and that in turn is affecting her home security system. She called Hank to investigate. Consumer investigator Hank Winchester is live tonight. So, Hank, go through what the problem is here.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very serious problem. There were outages with AT&T customers in this neighborhood last time, but this one seems a little bit more isolated. It's not just affecting her home phone. As you'll see, it's also affecting her home security. What has this been like for you?
Hectic.
Janet Johnson reaching out to help me Hank. She's got a big problem. Her home phone, it's not working. But it's not just her phone, it's also tied to her home alarm. From a security standpoint, too, that home phone is important to you and that line.
Right, because see, I have an alarm.
Okay.
And their signal comes through the phone.
Okay.
And if there's no phone that's active, it won't come through the cell. It has to come through the landline.
Yeah.
They can't get the call.
Yeah.
So they
it's
call
concerning.
me. It is.
Yeah. The problems for Janet, she said, started several weeks ago. She says she's been in touch with AT&T over and over and over again, and she can't get this problem solved. When you've reached out to AT&T, what has that been like?
Well, you know, I start with one person, and then they'll transfer me to someone else. I've even talked to a manager, and then I'll get someone else. I can talk to 3 or 4 people on one phone call.
And she's been a long-time customer. How long have you been an AT&T customer?
Since I was about 22 years old.
So I reached out to AT&T, working to get to the bottom of this. What is going on? I received this statement today. We are working to restore service to this customer as quickly as possible. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Back out here live, so we know that AT&T has now made contact with the customer, working to figure out exactly what happened here, and that was the goal. We wanted to make sure that this got to the right people. Now the problem is being addressed. Of course, it's something we're going to stay on top of to make sure that the issue is fully resolved. We're live here tonight. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank. Back to you.
Okay, Hank, thank you.